Okay, good afternoon. Hi, my name is Cindy Notaboom. I'm a PM with the Azure Search engineering team.
Hi, I'm Elad Zikri, also a manager for the team.
Great.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I hope you guys are having a great conference. Thank you for coming this afternoon for our session on AI-driven content understanding. This is the first in a series of sessions between today and tomorrow on some of the new capabilities that are coming around Azure Search and knowledge mining. So I think as many of you know, with Azure AI, when we talk about Azure AI, there are kind of three main solution areas. We've got our AI apps and agents, which is building applications and AI apps that interact with users in a more natural function. So leveraging tools like our bot framework and our pre-built cognitive services, you can build some really nice applications in that apps and agent space. On the other end of the spectrum, we have our tools and capabilities under the machine learning portfolio. Some really nice, powerful tools like Databricks, AML, our super-powered AI infrastructure that allow you to build your own custom ML models to do predictive analytics and your own AI. Sort of in the middle of that solution is our knowledge mining, really powered by Azure Search and some of the features and capabilities that we have under this portfolio. So probably most of you, if not all of you, have heard of the adage, knowledge is power, most frequently attributed to the English philosopher Sir Francis Bacon. David Schwartz, who was considered a leading American authority on motivation, actually took this a step further and said knowledge is power, but only when put to use, and only when that use made of it is constructive. The noted American author Maya Angelou actually put this more succinctly. When you know better, you do better. But right now, we estimate we're producing something on the order of 2.5 quintillion bytes of data per day. To put this in a little bit of context, 2.5 quintillion bytes of data, and the number 2.5 quintillion represents about 10 times the number of seconds since the Big Bang. So this is enormous amounts of data that we're producing and generating every day. We also estimate that about 80% of business-relevant information is in an unstructured format. So that's information that is basically trapped in various file formats, scattered across back-end systems, and maybe even locked in, storage locations such as the representation we have here. Extracting all this information and getting to it can be extremely expensive, time-consuming, difficult, and at times maybe even impossible. This is information that could be used to help you and your business make better decisions. Knowledge mining, when we talk about knowledge mining, is really all about the ability to unlock information from your unstructured data. As Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. So better information can make better decisions. Azure Search, infused with cognitive services, is really the product behind knowledge mining. The Azure Search platform integrates our cognitive services as well as Microsoft's years of investments in AI to build a powerful index capability that creates a unique solution to finding value in all types of data. So we can create structure around your data to give it new meaning through form and shape, create new data annotations, and discover relationships that are inferred through hierarchy or explicit annotations. We also enable a powerful exploration, ready to use, navigate, connected experience, so you can search within and find specific answers across single items and aggregate that for your needs. So what does this really kind of look like? Take a variety of file formats that we have here. Starting with Azure Search, which allows you to search very easily across structured data. For instance, extending across a back-end system where you might have something like a product catalog or even like an IT help desk ticketing system. But customers really want to be able to do full text search across a variety of content types in this unstructured file formats. So a photo, like you see here, isn't just a photo, but can be identified as a photo of Scott Guthrie. or a PowerPoint deck that you're looking for can be identified not just by the title or specific metadata that may have been tagged to that PowerPoint deck, but actually found through the content and the key entities and relationships within that PowerPoint deck. So at a high level, what we're talking about is the ability to ingest data in almost any data format sitting in a supported Azure file storage location, enrich that data with meaningful capabilities by infusing it with AI, creating annotations to your structure in your document, and then creating a rich search experience that you can use to explore your information. Last year at Build, we announced and showed you a demo around the JFK files. JFK files was a great experience that showed the ability to create a search experience across a vast dump of documents that the US government released around John F. Kennedy. This year we thought, what kind of stories could we tell about the information associated with Build? Things like our session extracts, our speaker profiles, our PowerPoint decks, and sort of the search experience that comes into the Build experience. So we thought, we've got a lot of years of data around Build. We have probably some interesting stories related to that. And so we wanted to see what kind of stories we might be able to tell across this data. So let me just, so I am 6. Okay. So what we have here is just, again, a simple web page and a straightforward interface, very similar to sort of the web page we saw with JFK. So if I'm going to search for the term cognitive search, what you see pretty quickly is that we've got a variety of content, both in our session content, so we can see abstracts very quickly. We can see relationships of the breakouts and the solution area types that they have, and we even have down here some PowerPoint presentations. So we can really quickly, easily aggregate some of the session abstracts, some of the speaker information, and the PowerPoint decks that were presented as part of Build. When we go down the left-hand side of the screen, you'll also see a filter that we've created around products. So what we've done here is extracted various product information out of the session, so you can start to see the variety of products that are being represented at this year's Build conference. I have an entity map that actually pulls in and starts to now show how all of the products and entities are related to each other. So here's my original search term, cognitive search. And you can see very quickly that we've got relationships to Azure Search, we've got connections into containers, there we've got a nice draw to cognitive services, and even showing some of the various people and information that have been speaking or related to these topics. So you can see really quickly how through just ingesting all of the information across Build, how we're able to not just see sessions and information related to cognitive search, but how cognitive search is related to a wide variety of products across our portfolio and that are being discussed at this conference this year. So if I go back to my search results, one of my other really interesting filters is this person filter. So not only have I extracted, again, the information about what's happening in the sessions, but I've also identified people that are either speaking or somehow related to the sessions that are being presented at Build. First glance at this list, this actually looks pretty reasonable to me, the kind of the names that I would expect. But actually, Broad isn't ringing a bell. So let's dig in a little further on Broad. And you can see that immediately what happened is I've further filtered my search results. So before my previous screen had, I don't know, about a dozen documents and related topics. When I click down on Broad, I've filtered down to just 3 documents. And I can see right here on this PowerPoint, BRK2001, which is our deck, that I'm actually seeing several names. I've got Frank Broad, I've got Scott Guthrie. I want to understand a little bit more about what's going on, because I put this deck together, and I actually know that I didn't mention Frank Brode in any of my slides of this deck. So let me go back to my click. Why are we not clicking through? Don't know why. It is not clicking through. Am I? It's what? Okay.
The title of something.
Okay, yeah, and it's supposed to go through to the, okay, there we go. Got it. So loading. So there's my deck. There is the session that we're in right now. I can click on Frank Brode, and I can actually see if it will scroll down. Resolution is key here. Some transcript, we'll just click into the transcript. Okay, well, my resolution isn't pulling down, so but you can see that there's a lot of information associated with this. Actually, I'm looking at all kinds of information now around location that wasn't actually part of, explicitly part of the deck that we're reviewing right now. When I went back and checked my presentation, what I actually discovered is that if you look at this document right here, which will not let me expand, that it is a PowerPoint document that actually contains Frank Brode as the top. The subject of that first letter is titled to Frank Brode. And so not only did cognitive search and the skills of our extraction techniques pull out explicit information that was around session and embargoed content, but this information is buried deep in a PowerPoint deck in a very small image, and it was actually able to extract information off of those images within the PowerPoint deck and identify that as a person, entities, key relationships within my content. So this is a great example of how you can use the cognitive search capabilities, again, not just to find information by like a title or metadata, but actually crack open, extract information from within a document in order to be able to create a search experience and find information you may never have found before. When I go back to 8, no, go back to 2. Do you remember which one, I'm sorry, which one were 5? Okay, PowerPoint. Okay, sorry. So, what's new? So, you all, hopefully many of you are very familiar with our Azure Search as a service. This is where we really started our journey. Azure Search is a down-to-earth enterprise search platform that allows you to build capabilities, that it has all the capabilities you expect from any enterprise search tool. You connect to your data source with our service, and you can index information across your structured data. We're able to pull in information and keep that index up to date through our indexer capabilities so that you always have up-to-date relevant search results. It also supports a variety of data sources such as Cosmos DB, blob storage, and Azure SQL. But using the Azure Push API, you're able to extend and actually index and crawl backend systems as well. We've had a lot of really good success with Azure Search. We've also had some really clear feedback that not all of our customers' data is in a nicely formatted structured content. There's JSON files, there are image files, and our customers wanted to be able to read all of this variety of content. So we're really, really happy to announce at this conference the general availability of cognitive search. And cognitive search is really the power, all of the power of the Azure Search platform infused with AI capabilities. Things like key phrase extraction, location entity extraction, celebrity recognition, all of these tools and capabilities are leveraged off of Microsoft's years of investments in AI and our pre-built cognitive services. This combined with Azure Search gives you a powerful index capability to create a unique solution to find value in all types of data. At a high level, we also understand that not every business is, everybody's got a unique business scenario, right? So we've got a great set of pre-built capabilities in this document cracking pipeline. You bring your source data, you run it through our indexing pipeline, and we're able to use these AI skills that are pre-built into the pipeline in order to extract and enrich your content. But we also recognize the need for you to create unique scenarios for your business and your customers. So we have also added the ability to create custom skills through additional enhancements, cognitive skills like language understanding or translation skills, or even custom skills that you build with your own through your own ML models or through Azure Functions, to really extend and enrich the cognitive capabilities of your search to your scenarios. So this gives you a highly flexible and extensible platform that can be tailored to your specific business goals and needs. Some additional feature improvements we're really excited about. One of the biggest, faster performance. So we have a 30 times increase in our performance of the cognitive search indexing pipeline. So what used to take hours can now really be done in minutes in terms of the volume of data. This performance increase is probably one of our biggest improvements in terms of the cognitive capability, the cognitive pipeline capabilities. Also, support of complex data types. This has been one of our top customer asks, and we're super excited to bring complex data types, the ability to support hierarchical and nested substructures that don't break down neatly into tabular modules. Things like multiple locations for a single customer, multiple colors for a single SKU. Again, one of our top most requested features, but when we add the enrichments of AI through cognitive skills, the need and the demand for supporting complex types was very apparent. So we're also very excited to announce that support of complex types is now GA. There are a few new skills. Some of the skills may not be as obvious or sort of in big announcement format. Again, since we're leveraging pre-built services and the cognitive services portfolio, we are always continuing to invest and infuse the enhancements of other teams' work into our pipeline. So things like improving our image extraction through OCR might not even be something that you necessarily notice, but as those capabilities are being improved, we're bringing them to our pipeline to improve your experience. We've also added some additional skills around conditional formatting. So if you have, say you have a variety of document types, you have some contracts, maybe you have some invoices, maybe you have some different types of Word documents, you may not want to put every enrichment that we have in our pipeline across every document type. It may not just make sense. So with the conditional skill, you're able to actually apply the type of enrichments that you want to the document type you're looking at. So we're going to talk more about skills later in the session, but just wanted to give you a quick preview on some of the new skills that we've got coming up. We've also expanded our regional coverage. So cognitive search is available in all of our hero and hub regions. So where you see yellow dots represented on the map is where cognitive search is available today. Keep an eye out. We're going to be continuing to roll out additional regional coverage for these capabilities throughout the next 12 months. But yeah, we do have good global coverage for cognitive search across all of our main areas. And finally, what we see is, since we rolled out cognitive search over a year ago, we've started to see our customers bring far larger workloads into the system. We're seeing terabytes of data that have been laying untouched for years, information that has been laying dormant for years or even decades. People are now starting to bring into the system and wanting to be able to apply AI to the data to start unlocking that latent content. So we've seen a huge increase in the volumes of data that are coming in and a huge increase in the customer demand and workloads. So we've created the storage optimized SKU, which is a 10 times performance boost in the size of the indexes you can create and the amount of storage you have. With that increased storage capacity, we've also created some very aggressive pricing to create, sort of that volume discount pricing. So the storage optimized SKU, super nice for customers with large amounts of data that are looking to especially use our cognitive capabilities. So how do we really apply all of this into the real world? I'd actually like to invite Chris up to the stage to talk about his experience with cognitive search and the capabilities that it's brought to his business.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
So, my name is Chris van Ravenswaay, and I live in the Netherlands. So, it's quite interesting to see how the translator will capture my Dutch accent. I am a global business solution manager at Howden, and I'm truly passionate about finding creative solutions for challenging business issues and problems. The company I work for, Howden, designs, engineers, and supplies air and gas handling equipment, and we are specialized in industrial fans, gas compressors, and air heaters. You can find our products in industries like power generation, petrochemical, mining, and steelmaking. Howden was established as an engineering firm 160 years ago in Glasgow. And today, we are located in 29 countries. 3 years ago, we started our digital transformation journey. It was a quite interesting and exciting journey. We partnered up with world leaders like Microsoft to build IoT and mixed reality solutions for our customers. But soon we realized that to keep our competitive advantage, we also needed to start digitally transforming our business processes. So today I want to show you a great example of how we are using Azure Cognitive Search for that. So imagine one of the largest oil and gas companies, for instance BP or Shell, they are planning to build a new refinery. And they are inviting us, Howden, to supply a small portion of that refinery, a few large-scale gas compressors. You can see the green one on the right side of the screen. So what the customer does is they start to compile a set of documents that will include national regulations, safety, all the sorts of environmental requirements, technical specifications, process information, and international standards. We get that set of documents and we have to try to extract all the relevant information. So as you can see, we have multiple sources of documents and we get that full pile of documents, and even our engineers start to print it out because it's simply too much to handle. So they just have enormous amounts of papers around them and start to compare documents with each other. So imagine you are that proposal engineer and you have to search for the relative stuff, find anomalies and the risks. It is just like searching for a needle in a haystack. So imagine you would have a system that automatically would do most of the review work for you. A system that can take away most of the human errors and start to identify the risks that are important for you and that make sure that you are not missing things that will later on cause margin erosion. This is just an example of the stack of documents we have to handle in a company like ours. So all sorts of technical documents are provided. And the challenge here is that there is not a single document covering only a single component of the machine. So you will have to check multiple documents to make sure that you are actually providing the customer with the parts and systems they are needing. So over 6 months ago, we started collaborating with Microsoft and to start to build a solution on top of Azure Cognitive Search. we were focusing mostly on an area like ingesting documents and making searchable, but also to improve the reusability of information, to improve collaboration and feedback. And I called this project, kind of a pet project for myself, SpecBot. I want to show you how it works. And I need some help to get the right slide. Okay, we're getting some help to get the system online. Perfect. So let me try to also change the resolution a bit. So this is the home page of what we call SpecBot. And what you see here is the blue button for uploading sets of documents. So our proposal engineers can simply select a folder that contains all the relevant documents for a project, and the system will upload it, and in a few minutes' time, the documents will be cracked at the back end of the system. What it also will do, it will start using custom skills in the system we have built to search for technical jargon that for us is common in our company. It will also try to identify international standards that are relevant for us, and there's also a library in the system for that. And we included an automated risk detection system. So let us first start finding a set of documents for a project. So searching on a company name, it will start gathering all the documents, and this is my result set. Now, this is nothing really special. You can imagine that the SharePoint can do the same thing. But what is interesting is that on the left side of the screen, you see all sorts of panels, and we have one, for instance, for international standards. So this is the library we added to the system. So you can imagine that the proposal engineer really wants to deep dive into a certain technical standard, and we can simply do that by clicking on one. So it now reduced my search results, and there was no human interaction here, so no one really entered metadata to find these words in the system. Also, what we can use are the gray boxes. So these are the typical technical key phrases that we want to use in our company, and we can start just by clicking on it and build up the search and narrow the search result. Of course, an engineer can also do free search here. For instance, a pipe, flange. Don't ask me what it is. I'm not really a mechanical engineer, but I was told this is really a part. So you see, I get a different result. So I can kind of start building up the search query that is interesting for me. So what is also interesting, I can add additional keywords, for instance, non-metallic, and I can also then add parameters for search within a certain number of words. So for instance, -10 will only search for this combination of words within 10 words from each other. And now I only have one document. Let's open up this document. It will show the original document, in this case the PDF. And what I can do in the system is just start reviewing the document, and if I find something that is perhaps relevant and I want to keep track of, I can just start selecting something, and I can add a title, add the annotation, and perhaps some additional comment. Well, and submit. So instead of making annotations directly in the PDFs, I'm now doing that in the system. So now it makes it available for usage by other people in the organization. It even is added to the search engine, so I can even start searching in those annotations and the comments I've been given. So you see that I also added a few already. If I open up, you can simply click on it and it will move directly to the area in the document. So this is also already very interesting for our proposal engineers, but what is more incredible here is to start checking the auto-detected risks. So what the system did based on our risk detection algorithms, it comes up with a few things that he thinks are important for us to check, could it be a risk or not. So what it actually shows here is for the monitoring frame, the portion of text that includes that risk. And what I can do is I can add additional comments, but more important, I can just approve or deny the risk. So basically, I'm now telling the system, was it a false positive or not? So that will also enhance the system with identifying future risks. So, going back to the slide deck. So, what we have been doing is using Azure Cognitive Search, but most importantly, the option to create custom skills. So here you see we have the risk extraction, we have metadata extraction, so basically importing the document set, not document per document, but a set, and it automatically identifies the projects that it is belonging to, and also including the engineering standards. So imagine if you start expanding those libraries and custom skills, it will definitely improve the way how we digest documents. So, future state. We really saw the potential of this solution and we will continue developing it. We are now thinking of connecting it to SharePoint and Dynamics 365. So as an example, imagine that you could pull in documents from SharePoint and extract value from idle documents. And if you have search results that are relevant for projects, you can then push that information back into Dynamics 365, making it really a full cycle of information reusage. We also see opportunities for aftermarket, marketing and sales. So this is just a small example of how powerful a solution like cognitive services can be for an organization as ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
So let's dive a little bit deeper and show some code and a couple more fun demos. So this is the platform. This is Cognitive Search with all its built-in skills. But what you've seen Chris describe Howden doing, and what you've seen most of the customers want to do is build their own set of custom skills. In the Howden case, it was a risk detector or whatnot. But you can basically use this to create custom skills using basically any technology that you want, as long as you provide an endpoint to the Cognitive Search pipeline to go and call. So I want to talk a little bit about this. Let's imagine that I want to create a speaker rating skill for our build knowledge mining. So I need to create some kind of HTTP secure endpoint, and it may look something like Cindy Noteboom, go to my custom skill, return a result, which is awesome speaker, and logically go to my custom skill, return a result, which is it is what it is. Let's say I want to create one of these things. Okay. So the easiest way to do this is actually use Azure Functions. Azure Function is a very easy serverless infrastructure to go and host a code or REST endpoints or whatever that calls into whatever custom code that you want. This can be in any programming language that you want. It has support for a bunch of consumption patterns. It has support for NuGet and NPM and whatever you want. What I'm going to show you is a couple of examples on how we took the build data which was the demo that Cindy has showed you, and conflated it with special custom skills. Okay? And the first thing that we've done is we took the speaker email from the build session information, and we used the Microsoft Graph to enrich the data. So Microsoft Graph is a very interesting technology that allows you to dig into the corporate, assuming you use Office 365 and Microsoft Graph, enabled to dig into the corporate infrastructure or the corporate repository of the knowledge that exists on you. So for example, this is me signing in to the Graph Explorer. This is it's available. You can go and sign in with your credentials, assuming your enterprise supports Microsoft Graph. So this is my Microsoft account, giving me access to whatever my IT department gave me access for. And for example, I can actually look at things like items trending around me, which generates this query, and find all the things that are trending around me. It's a big blob of JSON, but you can see out of my emails and correspondence and mentions in Teams or whatnot, so you can see there's a deck, which is this deck. You can see I'm involved in like a monthly business narrative for our services. There's a private preview whitelist for form recognizers, so there's a bunch of discussions around that. So that's actually pretty nice. But I can do some other things. I can go and retrieve, in the context of our build sessions, I can go and do something like, let's dig Cindy's profile information. I can actually access all the, the demo gods are not very nice to us today, but we'll do this. I happen to have pre-prepared this. So you can actually look at Cindy's profile information, which I end up using. So you can see her name, her job title, her office location. She's based in Bellevue, her email address. I can even do more funny things with this. I can actually go and, I'm sure she wouldn't like me doing this, but I'll do this anyway. So I can actually go and retrieve her profile photo from the Microsoft thing, which obviously will not work. Sorry. And do /photo/$value, and actually hopefully retrieve her profile photo. So she was hiking somewhere near a lake and uploaded this as a profile photo. So I can show you all of this. We'll get back to profile photos in a minute. So what this actually means is that I was able to take all this information, use the Microsoft Graph, so for the Microsoft speakers, extract the name, the location, the job title, the picture, and shove it into the same search index. Okay, so I created a custom skill that goes into the Microsoft Graph. I'll show you how I've done this in a minute. Put this in the index, and now I can actually go and explore this index because I now have a bit more interesting information to go and play with. So if I go back to my screen, you'll see that I have the same user experience, but a bunch of more fields than we had before. So I now have a new facet for job titles because I retrieved it from the MS Graph. So now I can go and do search for sessions that talk about AI, but are presented by a principal PM manager, and find our session, but also a bunch of other sessions by other people that are principal PM managers, and that's fun. Another thing that I can do, as you can tell by my accent, I'm not originally from here. I was born in Israel. I'm originally from a city called Haifa. So I can go and search for other people from my hometown that are here. So there's a bunch of sessions that are being delivered by people from Haifa. I can actually even go and do the same entity map around Haifa, and what I can find is that there's a big hub around Power BI in Haifa, and there's another hub on Cosmos DB and Azure SQL database. Actually, all product teams that work in the Israeli offices in Haifa. And the only reason I know this is because I just put all their content, all the speakers that are from Haifa, looked at their presentations, and these things popped up completely unsupervised. So that is actually pretty nice. Let's see a little bit how I actually did this. So this is my skill set. This is the JSON object that I fed into Cognitive Search to go and do everything that I needed to do. So there was a whole bunch of steps here. I'm going to skim through some of them because we're a bit short on time. I'm going to start here. So the first thing that I actually needed to do, and I used Azure functions for all of this. So these are a set of Azure functions that are basically my custom web API skills that I hosted behind Azure functions, and then I go and call them. So the first thing that I needed to do is I literally needed to go to this document, and for every speaker, I created a list of speaker lists. You can see this piece here actually describing the skill. Go to this endpoint, send batches of 10, take each document is a line on the build session list, and create a speaker list. And then I go further and extract speaker emails. I'll skip this, but the annoying thing is that the speaker emails, sometimes there's multiple speakers in a session, like here, so there's a bunch of delimiters, so I needed to clean this up. So I actually created a very simple custom skill that cleans this up. You can do this in You can do this in Excel, but I wanted to do this as part of my skill set. So there's a bunch of data wrangling operations that I created skills for. And then I found out there's an issue because the Microsoft Graph only contains information about people working at Microsoft. And apparently at Build, there are Microsoft speakers, but also a bunch of non-Microsoft speakers. So I needed to filter them out. So I took the email, I splitted it into 2 parts, and then I used the conditional skill, which is another new skill that we have just now announced, Cindy mentioned it earlier in the deck, that filters only on the domains at Microsoft.com. So only the people whose domain is at Microsoft.com, I'm going to send to the Microsoft Graph. Okay, I'm going to send to the Microsoft Graph and retrieve back this set of outputs like the display name, the given name, the job title, the office location, and the photo. Okay, and the Office Graph, at least on our IT case, allows me the ability to generate temporary tokens that can live for multiple hours or up to 45 days, depending on your IT policy, allowing me to actually go and do this across all of the speaker lists through an API call. So that was pretty nice. I weaved all of this together, and I conflated or enriched my index with a custom skill. But that is still boring. Okay, you did not bring me here just to do a bunch of boring stuff. We need to bring out the crazy a little bit. So let's do that. So you may have noticed that I'm somewhat bald. This is actually a new experiment. I'll tell you a personal story. A couple of weeks ago, I was with my family back home in Israel, celebrating my son's bar mitzvah. And a couple of days before the event, I went to my hairdresser in Israel. I actually live here in the United States for the last 5 years with my family, but I went back to my hairdresser who hasn't seen me in or barber hasn't seen me in like 4 years. I was like, hey, can you give me a haircut? I have a bar mitzvah for my son. And he was like, dude, no, it's the end of the road for you. No scissors for you. You need to just shave. That's the only way that's actually going to work. So he managed to convince my wife that this is the right way for my hair to look moving forward, hence this new and improved look, hopefully improved. So I was wondering, how many Build speakers share my condition? How many Build speakers have various level of boldness in them? And can I run some analytics on that? So I want to create a boldness detector skill based on the Build speaker photos. So that boldness detector skill would look very similar. So Cindy Noteboom, I expect it to return absolutely not bold, and a large cyclic, I expect it to return, you're on the way there, good job, keep doing it. So the question is, how do I do that? Okay, how do I create another custom skill that gives me a boldness indicator? So it turns out that I can use another cognitive service for this. We have a multi-year going Face API, and one of the new capabilities of the Face API, I don't know if you know this, is it does, or it did for a while, gender and age and whatever. My team created the How Old robot a few years ago at Build, so that was fun. But the new things that it adds a few months ago is the ability to detect hair, both on your head and also facial hair, and also detect glasses. So what I've done is I've taken all this profile photos from the Microsoft Graph, I ran them against the Face API, I took all the results, and then I used what we call a shaper skill, I'll show you what this looks like in a minute, to bring them all together into the search index. And the reason I was able to do this so effectively is, again, something that Cindy mentioned earlier on. We have introduced a new concept called complex type that allows you to create either nested objects or hierarchical objects or even a collection of these objects to use as part of your search index. So your search index does no longer need to be just a flat table. It can actually contain multiple objects that are nested and whatnot. So let me show you, first of all, the code behind this, and then I'll show you what it allows me to do. So after I got this photo from the Microsoft Graph, so I have a big JBlob object. The first thing I need to do is, again, some data wrangling thing. I need to extract the photo from this thing, which, again, was relatively easy done. So in the end, I get a URL where the photo is. I use the Face API to extract this. So for all of you holding the camera, hoping to catch my cognitive skills key, you're not going to get that. But all I need to do is take the photo, take my subscription and API key for the Cognitive Service Face API, call it, and get back an object called Faces that has a whole bunch of attributes in it, and then use this shaper skill, zoom out a bit, to basically take every attribute that came back from the Face API and name it or shape it into part of a complex type. So I've taken the age, and it will be faces/age, and smile will be smile, and blah, blah will be sideburns. I basically named or mapped all the various cognitive services responses into this complex object that will hold all the face-safe information coming from the face API into what I call shaped object. So now I have this miraculous object, and I can start doing fun stuff. So to do fun stuff, I will do this in, I will actually do this here. This is the actual Search Explorer. This is part of the Azure portal that allows you to configure and play with your search service. So this is my actual search service that I'm going to run some queries on. Let me show you what I can do. So for example, I can literally start with this query that says, show me all the information that you have, but filter this by speaker info on any speaker whose profile face show a bold ranking that is greater than 0.5. Okay, this is basically what the syntax means, and authorization has been denied for the request, of course. Thank you, Azure, for signing me out of my thing. Brilliant. We'll do this again. So timeouts happen when you're waiting for a session. So what the syntax allows me to do is to actually go, look through the index, search for all the results, but then apply a filter on the results based on the nested complex type syntax. Now, of course, it will actually not refresh because this is how this session has been going demo-wise, which is brilliant. Okay, better plan. So what you would get is a whole bunch of answers. Like literally, there are dozens of speakers that look like me in various shapes or forms, at least bold-wise. So let's assume that you're actually interested in going to sessions based on the visual look of the presenter. And let's say you have a special fetish or a special inclination to go to what my second query indicates. Somebody who's more than 50% bald, yet has sideburns that are greater than 50% and is wearing reading glasses. Let's say that this is your dream and you want to find that person and go to his session. So I can't do this on the Azure portal, so I'll do this from this result. It turns out that there is one person that meets the qualifications of all this query, that has both beautiful sideburns, bald, and glasses. His name is Jeremy. I talked to him, and he lets me use this for this presentation, so I'll just open his photo, and ta-da! Just absolutely perfect. He's also very, very happy. So this way I can filter all the sessions based on the completely ridiculous facial information that I extracted from the Microsoft Graph and the Face API and create a super wacky custom search index, which is nice. But we can do a bit more. Because in many cases, what customers want is to go beyond search. So at Build, yesterday, we announced the concept that we call knowledge store. So this is cognitive search, runs AI annotations, extracts the information, shoves this into a search index. But now we actually, with this new knowledge store capability, we allow you to keep these annotations in your own knowledge store. Okay, we generate a knowledge store into your subscription, if you so choose, allowing you to project these annotations into a bunch of non-search scenarios. You can actually go and do things beyond search using the same cognitive search capabilities. This is, again, a very strongly requested feature from our cognitive search users over the last year since we launched it, saying, hey, this is awesome, but I don't want a search index. I want to run analytics on this. Or I want to take this, use these annotations, and generate a custom machine learning model. Or use this just to retrieve the information in a better way. So with this knowledge store, what we actually allow you to do is basically tell us how do you want to project this information at the end of the skill set, at the end of the cognitive search. And this is all part of the same skill set definition. So all you need to do is tell us, this is literally part of the skill set, tell us, I want a knowledge store. Here is my storage account. Okay? Please go to this blob store and connect this thing, or go to this Azure account and connect this. And in my case, I'm projecting not just random blob data, I'm actually creating tables. So I'm projecting this entire skill set, these entire enrichments that you've seen me access through a search index, I'm projecting into a knowledge store, into a set of tables in the knowledge store. So there's going to be a sessions table, a speaker profile, a speaker faces table. And now that I have this table that are joined with the right keys, and this is just the output of my cognitive search, I can start doing Power BI-ish things. So instead of literally searching for a session by location, I can actually take all the sessions and use the Power BI map feature and throw the location on a map and see where did people come to build from, like the speakers. So the speakers, obviously there's a big chunk of speakers that come in from the Redmond area, the huge majority, but there's some folks coming in from Australia, there's some folks coming in from I think this is India, Cairo. There's people all over the place. And I can also do a bit more fun with this by taking all the information that we have and starting to run some fun analytics on this, because now I have a set of joint tables, not just a search index. I have a set of joint tables that came out of my search index. So I can start doing things like what we've done before. I can start doing things like, I don't know, sort by sideburns and see all the greatly endowed sideburns people, which is really nice. I can sort by average of boldness. Let's see, so Satya actually is number 4 in his boldness ranking, and you can obviously see why. So I can choose what I want to do. The funny thing is, you'd expect Scott Guthrie to rank pretty highly on this boldness sessions list, but he's not. That's actually pretty weird. Let's track this down. So if I go and find Scott Guthrie here somewhere, here you go. So this is his profile photo from the Microsoft address book. Okay. So he was about 30 years old when he did this. I assume it's when he joined Microsoft. Hence, he's not scoring on my boldness detector. Now, because it's Power BI, I can actually do a bunch of natural language queries, as you would expect from Power BI. So I can do things like, I don't know, show me, I don't know, bold by age of the presenter. So age is, whatever, let's do this with bins. So what you're seeing here is a nice graph that talks about the representation of age groups. We've partitioned, Power BI partitioned this into age groups and how many people have sideburns or massive amounts of sideburns. So you can see that sideburns are a big hype around the 30, 35, 40-year-old population, less on the junior people, more on the older people. So you can start exploring a knowledge mining build for a bunch of crazy stuff that is all there if you can just untap it. Okay, it was all there if you can just untap it. So this was the intro knowledge mining session. We have 2 more deep dive sessions. One is later on this afternoon about custom skills, showing you how to actually go and build custom skills, talk about specific domain use cases, and a few demos on people who actually went and built custom skills. How does it look like? What is the actual code? Compile it, build applications. The other one is tomorrow, deep diving in all the other Azure Search capabilities, a deep dive into complex types, deep dive into the knowledge store, how to use it, how to create it. You're more than welcome to join. We're also in the booth. We have a very large presence in the Azure AI Expo area, so willing to come and chat with us after this session. Last slide, we're short on time. I'll just put it out there and take questions. We also announced a knowledge mining or cognitive search solution accelerator. Okay, this is a GitHub repo with a bunch of documentation. You can literally go, click, and deploy your own knowledge mining solution on top of your data. Okay, this is how Howden got jump-started. This is also supported by our AI Early Access program. So we have an AI Early Access program team that was helping Howden and a bunch of other customers. So if you have a real workload that you want to bring into Azure and do knowledge mining on, we'll be happy to know about this and see if we can set you up with folks on the Early Access program team. You all have this deck, so a bunch of resources, both to cognitive search, to our knowledge mining bootcamp, a set of 3 days, videos and labs and tutorials that you're going to play, the solution accelerator, and our contact us email. We'll be really happy to have you follow up either in the booth or in email, knowledge mining scenario that you have. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you coming here. We'll take some questions. Any questions? If so, step to the microphone, and if not, you can catch me offline.